One, two, can you hear me? Can you hear me? One, two, one, two, one, two. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me? One, two, one, two, one, two. Am I able to be heard? Mic check. One, two. It's moving on my end. One, two, one, two. Can you hear me? Anybody in the chat? Can you hear me? Okay, good. So basically, I don't even know how much I heard, but for in the meantime, I'll just go ahead and go back to where I was at, right? So basically, what I'm talking about is the the ability the the ability to be available, right? So in the world of sports, we talk about the the best ability is availability, meaning that you have to be able to show up to a thing to make yourself available in order to become a professional in the NFL or the NBA.
Important security message. Your computer has been locked up. Your IP address was used without your knowledge or consent to visit websites that
excuse me, I'm over here trying to fix the computer at the same time. But so if you don't make yourself available or accessible to the league of whatever profession it is, whether it's football, baseball, basketball, you're not able to show what you have, the gifts that you have. The 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 availability of the gifts that you have, pretty much, right? So if we pertain that to everyday life, right, we have to be able to make ourselves available to a certain situation, right? Whether it's our personal lives or any others. We must make ourselves available in order for that to happen. So when you get sick and tired of a situation, you have to be available to make the adjustments. You must be able to make the adjustments. But a lot of us don't have that access, that will to make the necessary movements for the availability of the change in our life or the improvement of our life. So we have to figure out, what do we need to do? The first thing we need to do is be able to make ourselves accessible, right? So for example, if I tell you guys, uh I need help, I must make myself accessible for the help. Whoever's willing to make that adjustment to help me is making themselves available to help me, right? So those are the things we need to understand. But in order for us to be available, we must have that time. We must be able to make the time, right? When you in a relationship, you must be able to make yourself available for the person that you in a relationship with, right? The adjustments, the sacrifices, you know, all of that comes with the ability to make yourself the person that you want to be. DJ, what's going on with you? And those are the things that we have to do in order for us for ourselves to be available. We must be able to make ourselves accessible in a situation, right? So many people think that it's about them, and they have every right to think that. But if you don't make yourself available, you don't know what the adjustments are. You don't know what somebody is working on, what they coming into, or all of these things, because you are not making yourself. You're not showing the ability to be able to make yourself available, right? So how do we do that? How do we make ourselves available? The first thing we need to do is make time for ourselves. Examine yourselves, go into your hearts and your minds and find out what do we need to do to change. Realists, good morning, afternoon. That's the thing that we have to understand. We have to make ourselves accessible or available for the things that we want or need, right? I know I like the word need because if it's a necessity, you're going to make yourself available for the necessities that you need in your everyday life, right? For example, you need a job. So what you're going to do, you're going to make sure that you are able to be available for the job in which you seek, right? If you are a person that's willing to help somebody, you must, Selena, good morning. You must be able to make yourself available in order to help somebody. All of these things it goes hand in hand because if one cannot work without the other. You can be available, but if you ain't able, it doesn't make a difference. You may be able, but if you ain't available, it's not gonna work. The two must coexist with one another because if it doesn't, you're doing something halfway, right? And we know a halfway thing is not a total success. So we have to figure out how to make them combine together, right? If you, like I said, if you're in a relationship, right, and you love a person, that means you are able to make yourself available for that person. That means a sacrifice must exist. Meet, good morning, right? It must happen. A sacrifice must happen in order for you to be able to make yourself available for your said partner, right? Even in a business, you must make yourself available to be able to work with the people that you are around, whether you are co-CEO or COO or even in the mailroom. You must understand you have to make yourself available and be able to work with people around you. Of course, everything ain't gonna be 100% all the time, but you must work at it for it to be comparable or comfortable for you in whatever role that you get ready to play, right? So the being able part is one of the things that we have to focus on because everybody say they can do it, but do you really have the ability to do that, right? Do you really have the ability to be a shoulder to cry on? Do you have the ability to be an encourager? Do you have the ability to make a jump shot? Do you have the ability to score a touchdown? Right? All of these things you have to be able to do. Some might say it's a gift. Some might say it's a talent. But the fact of the matter is, you must be able. The ability means to be able to do something that you say that you can do, right? We all want peace, right? So if we all want peace, we must be able to find a situation to where we can. Okay, Selena, you must be able to have the time in the circumstances to be at peace. If you don't, then you're not able to manage the peace. You're not able to maintain peace. You're not able to control the situation that's in front of you, right? That's what being able means. But that's what the ability is. The ability is to be able to do. Some people are not even available to oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to highlight that. I'm on my phone. But you must be available to do the certain things that you're talking about, right? So like if in order for me to do this live, I must be able to have the time to have the conversation, right? And I've done that part, right? So I'm here to have a conversation. What do we need to do to make the ability to be available for whomever that we are trying to reach, our target audience, right? How do we do that? Do we continue to just talk aimlessly? No, because anybody's able to do that. But if you're doing it under false pretenses, you're not going to succeed with what you really want to do. right? If you want to cause chaos, that's what you will be causing. Because if you meant to bring peace and add chaos, then you have failed. You made yourself available for the wrong thing, right? You got to understand whatever role you trying to fit in your everyday life, in your work life, in your relationships, you must be able to be available for it, right? Uh, Christmas is coming, right? I don't know if everybody got kids, but most of us do. So if you are able to be available to make the money, you will get your kids some gifts, right? We know that Santa Claus is not sliding down no chimney. We know that a lot of us ain't even got chimneys. So what is the point of making the story of Santa Claus coming down the tree, right? I mean, coming down the chimney. We must be able to accept that we have to get the presents for our kids, right? But if we're not available to do it, it may be a long Christmas for our family and loved ones, right? And and the fact is, we supposed to make that a family holiday. So, but if we got to work that day, we're not available to do it. We're not able to make it a family holiday, or they may have the function without you. Either way, you want it to be a peaceful, cordial situation, but the availability has to come from the participants. The availability has to come from those that wants to do a thing, right? Like right now, we sitting there, we talking about making communities, we talking about making people comfortable. I have to be able to make it. I have to be able to make you feel comfortable if you want to come up on a panel, if you want to have a conversation with me, right? What up, Nine? I have to be able to do that, and my availability has to be matching my ableness. It has to go hand in hand. Because just imagine if I'm just able, but I know I can do it, but I don't have the time to do it. So it's a waste. It's the waste of me not trying to make it happen because I'm not available to do it. That's when you have to work with like-minded people. That's when you must coexist with people that you feel can do the job, right? That's when it comes together. But you have to be able and available to work with said people. You have to be flexible enough, and your flexibility has to be seen. In other words, it has to be available for people to understand. All right, he can't make it this time, but I can hold it down for him. Or she can't make it this time, but I can hold it down for her. Right? That's the basis of a friendship, right? If you understand that you have to be available and able to be a friend, you have to do the work. Doing the work is not is hard for some people, and I understand that part. But at the end of the day, you must make yourself accessible for the work. You must be able to do the work. If you work at a restaurant and you a cook, you must have an ability to cook, right? If you a chef, you must be able to cook, and then you must have time to cook the food. That's why it has to work hand in hand. And so too is it necessary for the ability and availability to work together. It's a half-stepping thing if you got one without the other. If you don't put all the ingredients in, it's not gonna taste well. You have to understand that without one, it's not a satisfactory product that's gonna come out of it. Your effort is gonna make sure that this thing gets done. It has to, because if it doesn't, then we're in a world of trouble, right? How do we do it? Can we do it together? Of course we can. If we all had the opportunity to say, okay, what time is good for you to have a conversation? What time is good for you to have a conversation? We are making the attempt to be available for one another, which means we will be able to have the conversation because we should all be available at the same time if we agree upon it. The agreement aspect in the availability is a necessity. It cannot work without the availability. I mean, the flexibility of what we're talking about here. You have to make sure that you are able to do something that you say you're going to do, because all we got in this world is our word. If we say we're going to do something, we need to do it. That's the ability of keeping ourselves available. If I say, you know what, yo, BDB, I'm gonna be in your panel on Tuesday night. You just made yourself. You got to make yourself available to it, because now you building character. How could you go through life without character in it? That's just like walking, like you walking aimlessly through the world. But you must be available for said character. If you are who you are, you got to make yourself available for it. You must be able to show who you are, and it has to be seen in order for it to be creditable. So those are the things that we have to really focus on going forward, right? I mean, how else are we going to make ourselves accessible and available for people? Right? We can talk a good game, but when it's time to show up, are we available? Are we able to say what we do? Are we able to do what we say, rather? These are the things that we have to ask ourselves. And it's crazy because there's so many people just talking because they're able to talk and they're available to talk. So when you get a jacket put on you because you don't say what you do, or you don't mean what you say, you can't get mad at people. When you are available, that makes you a consistent person. And when you're consistent, people are going to depend on you. So even if that's the case, you have to be able to be available for your own consistencies in life. Because if you're inconsistent, that's what people are going to talk. That's what they're going to say about you. If you a person that backslides, that's what they're going to think about you. Because you are making it, you are able, people are able to see that's what you are available for. If I'm saying I'm available to have a conversation with you, and I'm able to, and I'm consistent with it, that's what people are going to view me as. That's going to be the characteristic of Bust It Down Brown. If I say, yo, if you need to talk to me, I'm available, and then I don't do it, all right, well, he's inconsistent. His character, he's not available for what he says he's available for. We can't trust him. We can't bank on him for whatever reason. So we have to understand that, you have to be able to be consistent. You have to be able to be available for what you say that you're going to do. Right? If I say I'm going to be on tonight to talk about sports, I have to make myself available to have a conversation about sports. I must be able to have the accessibility of whatever subject I'm going to talk about. Just like here, I'm talking about the availability of being able to have this conversation, and that's what I'm doing. So the one thing that I hope that people could see is that I am able to be consistent, at least if nothing else, with my timing, with my talking points. If that is consistent, he's able to be available about that. And that's something that I work hard on, because if I don't work hard on that, what's the point of me having the conversation? What's the point of me doing these things if I'm not able to do these things at all? So those are the things that, going forward in life, even if as you improve, you have to make yourself available for the improvements, right? The adjustments that's getting ready to happen. Some people may be in a transition mode, whether it's a job or relationship. You must be able to transition, but you must be available for wherever you're transitioning to, whatever stage it is in life, right? A lot of people are just going through life, just wrong, just moving through life, not adjusting to the fact that they're getting older, not adjusting to the fact that they need to be available for whatever is coming their way. Because when they don't do that, they gonna hit something, and they're gonna hit a bump in the road, and they're gonna be like, well, I wasn't expecting that. I don't know what to do. But the availability of being flexible is going to allow you to overcome those situations. You being able and available to overcome a thing, it'll help you get through those situations. We have to understand as a people, we have to be able and available for the adjustments. Whatever it is. Somebody's getting older. Your kids are getting older. Dang, my kid was just 5 yesterday. Now they 25. That means you have to be able to understand that time is going to move on. You have to be available for the time to move on, because if you don't, you're going to be stuck. How many people is tired of being stuck in a situation? You must make yourself available. You must be able to be available for the time switch. If you just sitting there closing your eyes and twiddling your thumbs, you're just living. How many people are just tired of living? You must be able to adjust to the situation. You must be able to be available for what's coming in your life. People say they want to manifest a thing. Are you able to do that? Are you available to do that? These are the things that you got to ask. I have discernment. Are you able to have discernment? Are you available for the discernment that you actually see? Or are you just saying that because that's the new word of the day? There's a lot that goes into these conversations. There's a lot that goes into your thought process. But with all of that, time is the most consistent thing that you have to be able and to be available. Everybody says that they can do something, but do you have the time to do it? Are you available to make the time? It's just a lot. It's a lot it may seem like a lot for people to understand or grasp, but you have to really sit down and take the time to understand what it is that you need to do. Can I be available for my friends? Can I be available for my children? Am I able to provide for my children? Am I able to be a friend to the friend? But they must coexist, because you may be able but not available, or you may be available but not able to do that. You can have all the time in the world, but if you don't know what you're doing, the time is just the time. And that goes for either situation, whether you're available or you're able. But the best ability is availability. In other words, you must be available to show what you can do in your everyday life. If you are a singer, you must be able to be available to go ahead and go into that studio and record your record. Or even if you just wow, I'm just about to show my age. Even if you record yourself singing on the old boombox, you made yourself accessible to have the opportunity to record yourself, and who knows, somebody may pick up your tape. Dang, I'm showing my age. Forgive me. But it just goes to show you how much of availability that have gone through. We gone from tape recorders to CDs. Now we just got phones that record everything. Because we were able to adjust with the time. We made ourselves available to be able to adjust with time. That's just goes to show that it must coexist together. If you do one without the other, you might can make it. You might can make it. But are you at your full potential? Are you showing the talents that you need to show in order to get to where you need to go? Those are the things that you gotta adjust to. Those are the things that you have to be available for. Those are the things that you must be able to do. Some people are not able to withstand criticism. I don't like criticism if it's destructive, but if it's constructive, I'm available for it. I'm able to handle it. I'm able to handle the other stuff too, but if it's not helping me process or improve myself, I don't really want to be around it. Well, because you don't have hair on your head, like, I don't have time for that. We have to go forward in life. Every day is a step forward, because a lot of us got to understand we are getting closer to the end than we are at the beginning. So you must be able to make yourself available for that fact alone. If a lot of people just do that, there could be changes in your life that yo, I don't even want to deal with this nonsense no more. How can I help you? How can I help myself? I must be available for it. I must be able to want the help. I must be available for the help. Right? And those are the things that we have to say. If it's real and genuine, you should be able to be available for the genuineness of a situation. Right? That's what realist is saying. If the intention is genuine, I'm gonna listen and consider it. Because at the end of the day, Scorp, good afternoon. At the end of the day, that's what it's about. We're all getting older. Why are we still doing childish things? Because we're not able to be available for the adjustment of maturing. That's sad. I want peace. So I'm not gonna sit there and make myself available for chaos. I'm not able to handle it anymore. That's why I'm changing in the first place. I'm making sure I'm not able to be available for nonsense. I want to be available. I want to be able to be available for somebody saying, you know what? I appreciate what you said. I appreciate what you're trying to do with your content. I appreciate the stuff that you're trying to promote. That's what I need to hear, because that's going to make me more accessible, more available to the things that I need to do. Okay, hey Busted, you need to work on your vocabulary. Okay, now I got to go and study more words to make it to where people can understand me. But I got to make myself available for the criticism, the constructive criticism. I must be able to accept the things that's coming in my direction if I want to be my best version of myself. That's the thing I'm not afraid of that. I'm not afraid of failing anymore. Why? Because I'm able to accept the availability of me overcoming a situation. It may take a little bit longer. So me starting a new business, I should be able to be available for it, because I took the time to focus on what I need to do for it. If I'm making it, like I said, in a new relationship, whether it's a friendship or otherwise, I'm making myself available to start something anew. Hey, Chicky, how you doing? Everything good? Okay, I hear this, and this. What do I need to do to make this success a success and not a failure? Hey, Scorp, it's nice to meet you. What do I need to do in order for this to be a successful friendship? Realist, what do I need to do to make this a successful relationship? And I promise you, everybody that I just said, well, all I need you to do is be able to listen to what I'm saying, and be available if I need you. That's why I'm saying it has to go hand in hand. And if it doesn't go hand in hand, people is not going to accept what you're bringing to the quote unquote table. Like I said, whether it's a relationship, a job, a business, a YouTube content, whatever it is, you must be able to be available. Your best ability is your availability. You have to understand that. That's why in sports, if you don't show what you can do, that's going to take money off the table for you. You can't negotiate because you're not available to show your talents. You're not able to show your talent because you're not available. That's what we do here. If I'm able to sit here and give good content, people are going to say, you know what? I appreciate what you're saying. I'm proud of what you're doing. Keep on doing what you're doing. Of course, there's people that's going to say that on the other side of the aspect. We got to understand duality is real as well. What's said on the good side could be said on the left side, and vice versa. Bad, good, good, bad. It's all the same thing. And the question is, what are you able to do? What are you available for? What putting those two together, what is it that you want to be able to be available for? If you want to be able to be available for blessings, you're going to do what you need to do. You're going to make yourself accessible to what you need to do. If you want to be able to be available for failure, God bless you. I know you're going to do what you need to do for that too. You got to understand that these words, those two words, the ability to be available, or your best ability is your availability. You must understand that in order for those things to work, it's all about you, the individual, in the first place. What can you do to make yourself available? What can you do to be able to show that you are the person that you say you are? You must make yourself available. You must be able to be available in order for people to see what you can or cannot do. That's the thing that we have to focus on. Once again, like for most of y'all I'm not even afraid to say it in the beginning, right? I could have gave up on this very live. Shout out to the chat. They like, yo, I can't hear you. All right. And then all the other noises came. I still made it my business to be able to be available for the content that I said I was going to put out. And I'm still doing it. It flustered me a little bit, but I still made myself available to make the point that even in that situation, I made myself available to keep my word. That's all we have in this world is our word. Word is bond. Damn, I keep talking about my old age. But anyway, y'all understand what I'm saying, though. In order for you to be able to show your ability, your abilities, you must be available to do so, right? Chicky has long been doing her history situations, her history channel, right? She takes the time to be able to sit down, research, make it a business to pack that all up together so it's available for each and every one of us. It does. And that's the funny part, Chicky. It's supposed to be that way. But a lot of people is leaving out the whys and just doing dumb things. Right? People are getting older just to be right. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. But people are doing things just for dumb reasons. There's no wisdom to it, but they make themselves available for the nonsense. Right? It's sad when you see people have a argument over nothing instead of sitting down and making themselves able to sit down to be available to have a conversation to why are we sitting there going through this nonsense. But there's people that go through that. We have to be available to let our egos go if we want to succeed. I know people say pride comes before the fall, but it's ego that comes before the fall, because your ego is going to make you not available for somebody, and then you won't be able to situate what you need to situate in order to get through a situation. These are the things that we have to really, really work on. These are the things that we have to sit down. Okay, how can I show that I'm able to adjust to the fact that I'm not getting the views that I want? See, for me, it's easy. It's not even about the views. It's about leaving the content for somebody that really needs the content, or needs the message, or needs the advice, or needs the word of encouragement, whatever it is. Right? If I'm successful enough to get to monetization, then that's extra. But the fact is, I'm able to make myself available because I felt, or I knew, that I can do something encouraging for somebody that doesn't know how to be encouraged. That's what Chicky and Realist and Selena and Meek, that's what they said. Yo, go ahead and do that because we know that you can do that. And then after that, I was able to make myself available and a year later, I'm still doing the same thing. I just want people to see, if you go through all the videos, the consistency of what I'm saying, right? And if you've spoken to me privately before, you can say, you know what? At the end of the day, he is that person that he say he is. Why? Because I kept up the bargain of being able to be available for the situations at hand. If I say, yo, if you need me, call me, and I don't pick up the phone, I look foolish. My availability looks suspect. My ableness looks suspect. Now I just look like a suspect of fraud, a suspect of lying, of deceitfulness. I don't know about y'all, but I don't want to be available for that jacket. You understand what I'm saying? So I need to do what's best to keep that word at hand. I need to be available and able to do these things. If I don't, then I'm looking like, okay, viewership gonna go down. That means nobody's receiving the message that I'm trying to give in the first place. And if that's the case, what the hell am I still on here for? We got to understand, man, that we have to be able to be available for whatever it is that we are trying to proclaim. If you proclaim a victory, you must be able to be available for the victory. What does that mean? You got to overcome. You got to fight through things. You got to get through the nooks and crannies of trials and tribulations. But if you're available and you're able to do it, 9 times out of 10, you will receive that victory, right? Because you got knocked down and you got up. That's the heaviest price to pay for your availability. Because people will try to knock you down. Situations will try to knock you down. Availability can be blocked, but if you overcome that, you will get the victory. If you persistently keep striving for what you want to strive for, you're available for the victory and not the defeats. You will avail over that situation. This is what we have to focus on. This is what we have to worry about going forward. And like I said, for those that was here earlier, if you understand what I went through for the first 10 minutes, it was crazy. But I said, I have to do this. I have my word that I have to be able to be available for what I said I'm going to do. That's just keeping it on me. Now, when you put it on yourself, what are you able to be available for? Are you able to be that good friend? Are you available to be that good friend? Are you available to be that good working partner? Are you available and able to become the best version of you? You have to show that the abilities in you are available to achieve that goal. It's not hard if you work at it. It's not hard if you be consistent with it. But you have to be able to be available for those steps as well. Well, I'm gonna take a day off. Okay, so now you understand that you won't have to work harder the next time you go about doing that, because we all know what stagnation can do to your abilities and your availabilities. You must be consistent. All right, I got to work twice as hard, 3 times as hard, right? Just in order for you to achieve what you said you want to achieve. But you have to be available to make it possible. You have to be able to make it possible. And the two of those together must coexist when you get to that finish point. Because if you get to that finish point and one is missing, you're going to be lost. I promise you that. That's a trick. That's a trick that you can do one without the other. I don't think you can. You need both to coexist in order to become the best version of yourself. The question is, are you available to be the best version of yourself? Do you want to be the best version of yourself? Are you able to be the best version of yourself? These are the things that we have to ask ourselves on a daily basis. How? When? How much time do I need? Okay, I got free time. Let me put that on my plate so I can make myself so I can add more time to my best version, or whatever it is that you are striving for. You trying to buy your house, you have to be able and available to maintain the funds to buy the house. If you are trying to maintain your car because you have car payments, the same thing must apply. All of these things have to apply itself in order for you to succeed in the goal that you are working for. It may not come as fast as you want. We have to understand that we have to adjust, because even though people are able and available for the microwave society, not everybody can work on that timeline. Everybody don't have that break. Everybody don't have that luck of getting things done quickly like that. With time and effort, you will be able to be available. That may not happen for you. And that's the thing that, like I said, that's the thing that we have to work on. That's the thing that we have to focus on. We have to say, yo, enough is enough. I need my pace to be my pace. But you have to be able to be available for your own pace. Don't rush it because Tom, Dick, and Harry, or Jane and Becky and Sue is doing it at a quicker pace. Because if you understand, the race is not given to the swift nor the strong, but those who endure to the end. You can set your pace, but you will be available and able to maintain that pace. But it's up to you. It's up to me to decide what we want to do, right? Some people might say, yo, it's kind of hard to do 2 channels. They may be right, but I must be able and available to pace myself to do 2 channels if that's what I choose to do. I must pace myself to be able and available to be the best on both channels if that's what I choose to do. A lot of people think they're doing that on their own with 1 channel. So just imagine them doing it with 2. But like I said, I'm just trying anything to make sure that I'm able to be available for the comfort of the people that I talk to on this app, talk to in everyday life, because that's what I want. That's what I feel I need to do in order for me to be the best version of myself. Of course, there's situations that happens. Life is life. Life is lifing. Of course. But that don't mean you stop what you're doing because life is lifing. If that's what you truly feel that you need to do, you're going to make time for it. If you care about a person, you're going to make time for that person. You're going to make yourself available and able for that person, whether it's a friend, a child, a family member, whoever. If you feel that way about a person, you will be able to make yourself available for that person. You will say, I got 30 seconds. Let me text them and say what's going on. Because you was able to make yourself available for that. Your ability was your ability for the availability gave you the time to do that. And that's all that most of us ask. You don't have to be the best, just be able to be available. In time, you will become your best because you worked on it enough, because you was able to be available so much and your consistency worked in it that you will be that best version of yourself. I promise you that. Are you able to be available for the work? Are you able to be available for the consistency? These are the things that we need to say, how can I add that to the mix? How could I make this a grand cake in my life? How could I make this the best version of myself? That's what we need to say going forward. That's what we need to look at as we go forward. Your ability, your best ability is your availability, meaning the best thing that you can do is to be able to be available for what you need to go forward in your life, to be able to avail to be the best version of yourself. That's what we need to do. Nobody said it's going to be easy. If they did, They are some great people. They are exceptions to the rules. But guess what? Everybody's not an exception. I'm not an exception. I wish I could be, but I'm not. So that means I got to do twice the work. I got to do twice the efforts to be able to be available, to show that my best ability is my availability. I must do my best to show you that I am able to be there for you or me or whoever I am there for. That's all we can do in our life. That's all we can do on an everyday basis. But hey, what do I know? Right? I'm new. I'm new to YouTube. I'm still an infant in YouTube days. I only been here for a year. I've seen people disappear because they wasn't able to be available with their consistency and fall off the face of the earth. Life be lifing. Things will take you away from the goals that you have. But in order for you to succeed in your goals, your best ability is your availability for that goal. I don't know how else to say it. I don't think there's another way to say it for me. All I can say is if you try it in that fashion, in that format, if you make it your business to be able to be available for what you want or what you need, I promise you it'll get done. I promise you, you will succeed. If you decide, like I said, if you decide to become a gardener, if you make yourself, if you are able to make the time to learn how to become a farmer, you will become a farmer. So now you don't have to worry about how much a tomato is, how much a fruit is, how much a potato is, when you can do it yourself because you made it your business to be able to be available to learn how to do that. And now you are your best, like you saving something. You saving yourself from a headache. But what do I know? Like I said, all I know is I'm doing the best to be able to be available for the situation at hand. And I just hope I am succeeding in what I'm doing on this app. I hope that it is receptive and people are understanding what I'm saying. All I know is I know that I am able to be available for it and I'm doing my best. So I know I'm not leaving. I know I'm not cutting any corners. I know that I'm giving it my all. And whether it happens today, tomorrow, next year, somebody is going to understand what I'm saying and somebody is going to receive it for what it is. The ability to be available to help encourage people going forward. That's right. All I can do is my best. All I can do is do the best that I can. And that's why I tell people, when you do your best, when you are able to be available to do your best, things will work out because God is going to do the rest, right? Whether it's the God that you're praying to, the God that's in your soul. However, if you doing your best, God is going to do the rest. And I promise you, it's not going to fail. It may take longer than what people think. But if you do your best, if you are able to be available for your best, your success rate will go through the roof. So, I I appreciate you guys coming through. And for those of y'all that was with me from the beginning, I ask for your forgiveness because I don't know what happened. Things just went crazy. But like I said, if I say I am able to be available to have this conversation, I am. And that's what I want. And I had to prove that on this very live today. It was crazy. It's still going crazy. But the fact of the matter is, I am still able to have this conversation with you, right? I am still able to be the person that I am. I am still able to be consistent on the availability basis. If I say, yo, I'll call you at 2, I'm gonna call you at 2. I may give you a little bit more time because you may be busy on your end. But the availability is being able to make sure that I am consistent with you on an individual basis or the group basis or whatever. Right. I had the ability to fix the problem. Some people would have just left it alone and said, you know what? I'm done with it. I'll catch y'all next time. No, you have to overcome when an occasion arises, when the occasion comes, you have to rise to it. That just shows you that you have the ability and the availability to overcome a situation. You could overcome that occasion that's holding you back. You have that ability and availability to overcome the fact that there's something in your way. You're going to figure a way out. And that's what I had to do today too. So I definitely understand it. Is it hard work? Nobody's saying that it's not. But like I said, if you do your best and you are consistently doing your best, you will be able to be available for anything that comes your way. That's just the best way to put it. That's just the best way to observe it. More importantly, for me, I can't speak for everybody else. That's the best way for me to accept it. And that's how I'm going to accept it. If you want to overcome, you must be able to be available to have the strengths to overcome a situation. And that's just the way it goes, you know? So with that being said, y'all, I truly appreciate you guys hanging with me, sticking it out with me, and allowing me to overcome the situations at hand just to make myself be able to be available to have this conversation with you. You guys are all important people. You could have did something else with your time, but you allowed me to be able to have this conversation with you. You allowed yourself to be able and available to sit here and weather the storm with me. And there's no greater thing that can be said but thank you. If you had 1,000 tongues, thank you would be enough. Shay Love, good afternoon. And that's the thing that you have to understand. When you are able to be available for certain things and situations, you can overcome them. When you, like I said, when you sick and tired of being sick and tired, I promise you will be able to make yourself available to get out of that situation that you are sick and tired of. The sacrifices must be made. You know, and when you make that sacrifice, all you're doing is adding more strength to your availability and your ableness to get through a situation. You got to find out what your strengths and weaknesses is. Whatever your strengths is, add it to your ableness and your availability. Whatever your weakness is, you have to put it to the side, or either better yet, strengthen it. Strengthen it so it is no longer your weakness. Now you will be able to be available for that weak attempt to be a strong attempt. Strengthen yourself. You have to be able to be available to strengthen yourself. All of these things occur when you make that time, when you make that effort, and when you do your best. Like I keep saying, God will do the rest. You got to be able to sit there and weather storms. But you have to understand that you are able to weather the storm because you may not have no choice but to be available. You have to sit there and see the strengths that you actually have. Sit there and see, the Bible says, sit still and see the salvation. Right? See what you can say, see what can be saved through your trials and tribulations to make you stronger. And that happens because your ability to be available to sit there and go through it is what makes you stronger. That's the thing that we have to do. That's the thing we have to understand. But you must examine yourselves. Go into your storehouses. I tell y'all all the time, you guys are a storehouse because God has given you everything that you needed to be able to be available for whatever comes your way. Whether it's life, whether it's, well, whatever it is, you know that you are available for it. You can get through it, but you must be able to be available. Your best ability is your availability. You must be able to be available. You must be able to avail yourself to a situation in order for you to get through it or keep your word at it. If that's what it's doing, Scorp, then I am humbled by what you're saying. At the end of the day, like right now, I can say I did my part, right? Because I understand if it only reaches one person, that's enough. But at the end of the day, the word still has to go out. It has to be delivered. And right now, I am able to be available to do such a thing. It is a humbling thing, right? It warms the heart that somebody is receiving what you're saying. But because you made yourself, you was able to be available to listen to it. If that's what it's doing, then it's meant for you. This may not be meant for everybody. But like I said, my job is to put it on the table. If somebody picks it up and reads it and take it home with them, that's a blessing. If not, please leave it on the table. Somebody else might walk by and need that. Right? That's what we continuously do on this app. Or we support, well, a lot of us, let me rephrase that. That's what I'm trying to do. I can't speak for everybody else. Everybody else may be here for a mess and want to be blessed in the mess. If that's what you want, I don't know who you serving, but if they give you that, then that's on them. Right? But I know if I'm doing the right thing, the fruits of my labor is somebody's going to pick up that right thing. Right? If I'm bearing good fruit, that's what it's going to be. But I'm able to be available to be planted for that good fruit. And that's all we can do going forward. You know? But yeah, I truly thank you guys for stopping by. I really do. And like I said, the adversity of the availability, it was tried. But I still overcame that because I was able to be available for the overcoming of a situation. All of us have that in us, right? All of us just have to apply it or activate it or be able to be available to make it work for us going forward. So, guys, as much as we say we want to do things, we got to start needing it, because if you understand that a need is better than a want, you will strive to be available for it. You will be able to be available for a need much more than a want. So with that being said, guys, I truly appreciate you guys listening, showing up, partaking in the conversation in the chat. You guys are a blessing. And I pray that y'all all continue to be just that. Just, be able to be available to be blessings to somebody as you go out. You don't know who you're going to touch going out there, going forward. But if you are able to be available and that's what you want to do, that is exactly what you'll do. So with that, guys, I bet I'd be better to show you guys it can be done. Well, Scorp, if you want that to be done, don't show it. Don't do it for us. Do it for yourself, right? Because in order for you to be the best version of you, you got to be able to be available for that in the first place. But until next time, guys, I truly appreciate you guys. Busted Down Brown signing out.